Hello, guys. People are getting arrested and are being prosecuted for failing to register. Hello, once more, guys. It's attorney Andre McKinney Dorval. In our last video, we talked about the Alien Registration Act. No bones about it. The courts have said the Trump administration can proceed with requiring registration. Now, let me say that registration, the law itself on the books, isn't anything new. However, as I've been sharing in several of our videos, it is another tool in the toolbox, that is being used. Now, what I want you to understand, this is a requirement of the law. So I'm going to give you more information, and I'm going to share with you one of the first individuals to be arrested and is being prosecuted, if you will, by the Department of Justice. Now, this requirement went into effect April 11th. It is an online registration form, G325R. Important to note, most individuals have some form of evidence of registration. Now, I do want to clearly state, while this is an enforcement tool, it is the law. So let's talk about, to kick off, to start, who or what considers, or what is considered, I should say, proof of registration. And there are several documents or items that are evidence of registration. A Form I-94 arrival and departure record. A Form I-95 crewman's landing permit. Form I-184 alien crewman landing permit and identification card. Form I-185 non-resident alien Canadian border crossing card. Form I-186 non-resident alien Mexican border crossing card. Form I-221 order to show cause and notice of hearing. Form I-221S order to show cause, notice of hearing, and warrant of arrest of alien. Form I-551, we all should know that. That's your permanent resident card. Form I-766, we should also know that. That's the employment authorization document, your EAD paper. Form I-864, notice to appear for those non-citizens against whom removal proceedings are being instituted. Form I-863, notice of referral to immigration judge. And your valid, unexpired, non-immigrant DHS admission or parole stamp in a foreign passport. Proof of registration upon submission of the online form will also include completion of biometrics. In a separate video or short, I believe we talked about the penalties for not registering, for not carrying proof, and also important, providing information on the form that is not truthful. There are also penalties, criminal and monetary penalties for that. Now, those are just examples of documents that show proof of registration. If you are unclear based on your particular immigration matter, work with a licensed immigration attorney. What I now want to share with you, in the video that we published last week, I talked about that whether I would show some of the questions, and rather than show some of the questions, I'm going to go over questions on the form that require an answer to be submitted. Otherwise, you won't be able to submit the form. Again, most individuals do have proof of registration. Those are the items that I just went over. For those who do not, under the law, you are required to register. I'm going to now share with you certain of the question fields have a little asterisk or a little red star, and that just means you must provide a response to that field. Otherwise, you won't be able to submit the form online. Fields that are required on the form include your name, your address, physical address, and mailing address, your date of birth, your country of citizenship, whether or not you've been previously ordered removed, questions asking about your engaged activities here in the U.S., questions pertaining to criminal history, whether any criminal or violations of the law in the U.S., in the state that you reside in, or in a foreign country. Also, your marital status. You do have an option of uploading additional documents, things that pertain to maybe any criminal history or criminal documents that may be specific or particular to your particular immigration registration. So those are some of the fields that are required to have a response. Let's talk about one of the first individuals who has been arrested for failing to register. Now, the Department of Justice has already filed the complaint against this individual. The style of the case or name of the case is United States versus Eduardo Prado Flores. And this is directly, guys, I pulled this information directly from the Department of Justice's website to provide you with a brief summation of this individual. Now, according to the Department of Justice and what they provide on their website, on April 17th, 2025, Eduardo Prado Flores, an alien illegally present in the United States, was charged with failure to register as an alien under 8 U.S.C. Section 1306, subsection A. Flores, according to Department of Justice's website, who was removed to Mexico on 5 occasions, has been living in the United States unlawfully since 2022. On April 16th, 2025, Flores was turned over to the Department of Homeland Security after being arrested for driving under the influence while he was living in the United States from 2022 to 2025. It goes on to state that Flores failed to file any immigration paperwork or register as required by law. The website goes on to indicate that this criminal complaint, because it is a criminal complaint, is simply a method by which a person is charged with a criminal activity, in this instance, failure to register, and raises no inference of guilt. And it goes on to state, as the law in the U.S., an individual is presumed innocent until evidence is presented to a jury that establishes guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard in criminal law in cases. Guys, a few takeaways. Number 1, registration is a requirement of the law. Number 2, there are criminal and financial penalties for failing to register. Number 3, as shown in what the Department of Justice's website describes concerning Mr. Eduardo Prado Flores, he was driving and was arrested for driving under the influence. This kicks off to number 3 and number 4 I want to share. And that is, we did a video. Driving is the number 1 way to come into contact with law enforcement. And secondly, May 7th is the deadline for everyone to be Real ID compliant, That means if you are driving, you are required to have a Real ID compliant driver's license. We did a video showcasing a resource. Regardless of where you're located in these United States, you can click on the map for your state and it'll take you to your state's driver's license bureau division so you can see what the requirements are for your particular state. Please check out that video. So guys, people are being arrested. People are being prosecuted by the Department of Justice, their attorneys, if you have not registered. This is very, very serious. And again, this kicks off as a reminder. Real ID compliant date is May 7th, which is right around the corner. Please check out that video. I do thank you guys for watching. I will certainly see you guys in the next video. Everyone, please be well and be safe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.